need I tell you one-on-one? If you are a talker, stop on in and have a chat with Greg Walker. One-on-one, let me tell you, brother, there's been imitators, but there'll never be another.
Oh. Hello, welcome to One-on-One. I'm your host, Greg Walker. Man, we got a good guest with us today. A young man, and I say young man because anybody younger than me I consider to be a young man. But I also give him a compliment. He's a Brahma bull for his age. He was a terrific high school athlete, high school football player, and went on to college. We'll talk to him about those times. He works diligently with Bikers Who Care, and he is the owner of Hughes Construction Corporation. Billy Hughes joins us today. If you don't know Billy, I think you're going to enjoy getting to know him much better. If you do, settle back, relax, and enjoy just a fun, down-to-earth conversation with a young man I think a lot of. Billy Hughes joins us right after these words.
The model year-end sales event continues at Matthews Nissan, Clarksville's favorite new car dealer. Save big on 400 new. We're making room for 2017s. $8,188 off a new Altima. $6,388 off a new Rogue. $7,888 off a new Maxima. Buy a new Versa, $9,999. You're going to love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices, Matthews Nissan.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
The holiday season is a time of celebration and reflection. This year, our family at Neil Tarpley Parchman encourages your family to celebrate the lives and memories of those who are no longer with us.
From our family to your family, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a very prosperous New Year.
From our family to yours, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
From the Neil Tarpley Parchman family to your family, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Welcome to our show today, the Brahma Bull. I call him that fondly. Billy Hughes is in the house.
Good to see you, Greg.
Great to see you, Billy. Had fun talking with you this morning.
It's been a blast. Catching up on old times.
Yeah, you wear a ball cap the way it should be worn, man. I tell you that, hey, that's a pro.
Well,
and Bikers Who Care. Billy's big in that. Also got his shirt on. Looks good. Hughes Construction Corporation. Good looking shirt. How is everything? Good?
Awesome. Couldn't be better.
Your family, how are they?
They're just wonderful. I'm blessed with a great family. So
you got a wife, 3 boys, and a girl.
We do. There's always some kind of entertainment going on around our house.
I bet it is. And they're all right there at high school, college age, aren't they?
They are. We've got Ari, our daughter. She's a freshman at Clarksville High, and then Hunter. Our youngest boy, he's at Austin P. Colt, our middle one, he's at Austin P. And then Rush, our oldest, just transferred to Middle Tennessee.
That keeps the family busy, doesn't it?
Keeps mom and dad working is what it does.
Uh-huh. How is your wife?
Awesome. Great lady. She's a good mother, great supporter. And being self-employed and doing what I do, it takes somebody like that to be behind you.
Yeah, Hughes Construction Corporation. Tell everybody exactly what you do.
We're a commercial and industrial general contractor. We do a lot of medical work out at Fort Campbell, in the hospital and in the secondary buildings, anywhere from ground out construction to renovation. And then we also do a lot of work in the industrial environment, food processing plants, that kind of thing.
Well, it's been good to you. The Lord's blessed you.
The Lord has blessed me.
Yeah.
I cannot deny that. Every morning you got to get up and thank the good Lord.
Do you still work out? You look like you do.
I don't. I'll have to confess, I do not. I keep saying I'm going to get back back into it a little bit. Not near what I did at one point in time, but
you got a great frame. You know, you were perfect for a power lifter. You did that for a while, didn't you?
I did when I got out of college. Actually, my last year in college, I started competing competitively in the sport and did it for 4 or 5 years.
No kidding. What's your best?
My best, I won the collegiate bench press championships with a bench of 475 in the 220-pound class.
Woo!
So
more than double his weight.
That was my best competitive lift. I had some in the gym that were a little heavier, but that was my best competition.
Yeah, that's stronger than Katie's breath right there, buddy. That's stronger than Katie's breath. Have you always been interested in sports?
Yes. Yes. Growing up, I always had some type of ball in my hand, and I grew up as an only child, so, I might be throwing a ball against the side of the house and taking ground balls that way or however, but always doing something.
Yeah, always. I mean,
baseball was my first love. I didn't start playing football till I was in 8th grade.
You wear a cap like a baseball player. Not one of these straight things. Give me a break with that.
Yeah, I preached to Hunter, our youngest boy. He's
not too far down either. You just got to be just right.
It's an art.
It is. It's an art.
But no, we preach at our kids about that.
Do you?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm a big on hat etiquette.
I mean, if you go wear it, please wear it right.
That's right.
Or just don't wear one at all. Billy, when you got to high school, did you play both baseball and football, right?
I did.
Your high school years, were they great times in your life, or was it tough, or how was it?
I mean, they were some of my favorite times.
Sure.
And tried to tell our kids as they go through, hey, just embrace this 4 years, because now looking back, that was some of the best times of my life.
Now, you played for Clarksville High.
I did.
I believe you played for Esau.
I did.
Was he all 4 years you were there?
He was. When I went to school, coming out of high school back then, we had Greenwood and Greenwood Annex.
Yeah.
So you didn't actually go to Clarksville High till you were sophomore. And we actually had a feeder program here in Clarksville through the middle schools that was school funded and school based, not like it is today where it's part of Pop Warner Little League. And I think my opinion, we've lost a lot by going away from that type of system.
Well, you're right. Of course you're right.
If you look at Henry County, who is year after year a state power, they still have that.
Yeah.
And you do not go to high school in Henry County until you're sophomore.
What you do, whatever the system they're coaching in high school, if it's good and if it's winning, the feeder program needs to be running a very similar or the same system.
Exactly. And we had, of course, Tom Cease was the coach at 9th grade, and Marty Darnell was our coach at the 8th grade. And
boy, now that's two right there. Of course, Tom Cease is dead. Marty Darnell helped get me started when I was teaching. I did my student teaching under him for one half. Rocky Cobb, who's deceased, also the other. Two great people, though.
Oh, absolutely.
You had fun with them.
Getting involved in football, I owe to Marty Darnell exclusively. I had gone to the Clarksville Academy from 1st to 7th grade. And all my buddies growing up all went to the public schools, and that's where I wanted to be. So I finally talked my parents into letting me go to public schools.
Mm-hmm.
And the first day I walked in Greenwood, Coach Darnell comes up to me in the gymnasium and he says, "Why aren't you playing football?" I said, "I don't know. I've never played." And so I called my mom that afternoon and said, "Hey, I'm going to stay after for football practice." And first game we played New Providence, and I started at tight end, and the next week he moved me to quarterback.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you play quarterback all through high school?
I did not. My sophomore and junior years I played strong safety.
Well, you played both ways, didn't you?
I did.
Billy?
Van Smith was quarterback.
Oh, man, Van could throw it.
Oh, yeah. Van was quarterback my sophomore and junior year, and then when he graduated.
Man, he was beautiful.
Yep, Van was a talented
He
quarterback.
really was.
Yep.
Drop back passer, but, man, he could sling it.
Tall pocket passer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Billy Hughes is our guest. We'll be back, segment 2, right after this.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
Billy Hughes is our guest today, and it's Hughes Construction Corporation. He's here representing Bikers Who Care as well today, and we'll be talking more about that this segment. But we was talking about the high school days and the fun times, and of course that was back when I was broadcasting during those 80s. You played with some great athletes, Billy.
I played with a slew of great athletes.
You really did.
I mean, it was. I look back now and I look at the high school teams that you see here, and you know, we were. My senior year, we went to the Clinic Bowl, played Overton, lost to them. They went on to win the state championship.
We called that game up at Vanderbilt.
It was a cold night.
Yes, it was. Frigid
And wet. But
you even played with the great Harry Galbraith.
Harry Galbraith was a great friend.
Good man.
You know, I used to get mad at him because he would come to town and my mom would come home from work and she'd say, "You never guess who came to see me today." And I'm like, "Harry, man, you're going to see my mom, but you don't, you know, come on." But yeah, Harry was a great guy.
He was. He sure was.
Still talk to his mom quite a bit, and she'll hit me up on Facebook and wish happy birthday or Merry Christmas.
That's great.
Dolores, she's a great lady.
Now, after high school, interesting here, because now Billy played quarterback his senior year. Billy, if he goes to college, he's going to be a strong safety, a linebacker. He's going to be something like that. You go to play with Bill Dukes, don't you?
I did. I went to TMI Academy to get some additional grow a year and get some experience, and actually got to, I consider him a legend in Tennessee football, Bill Dukes. It was a great time, and back then, under NCAA guidelines, we took high school classes, and we played college B teams. We played Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Notre Dame, Kentucky. Played middle, but you still, by taking the high school classes, had 5 years of eligibility to play your 4. So you go into college as a freshman, and you've already played a year of college football, but you still have 5 years of eligibility.
That's great.
And there were some tremendous athletes there at that school.
I bet.
We had William Howard, who went on to UT and played for Tampa Bay Bucks. Ben Tamburello was our center. He went on to Auburn and played 9 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. We had interesting characters. I was thinking about the other day, Buddy Reynolds, who was Burt Reynolds' nephew.
Really?
Yeah. He came up in second game of the year. He blew out a knee, but Burt would come up all the time. It was pretty cool to see Burt Reynolds back in the 80s. Here's the Bandit at our school, but it was fun.
Had a good time. What'd you do after that?
After that, I decided I wanted to try the big leagues, so I went down to Alabama and gave it a try down there. So went in.
Ray Perkins.
Ray Perkins' first year, and had a pretty interesting time there because it was the transition between the Bear Bryant era and trying to move forward, and got to meet a lot of the old, trying to instill the history and the tradition. Bart Starr and Richard Todd and some of those guys would show up at the practices or team meals or whatever. Of course, Mike Shula was a freshman at that time, and his dad, Don, he would have a presence there. And then you look back, we had Ken Donahue was there, went on to back to UT, which I told my mom when he left Alabama, I said, you watch. I said, UT will win the SEC. He was a great defensive mind, and sure enough, 2 years later, UT's winning the title. Jim Goosetree, who was from Clarksville,
absolutely,
he was still there. He was there under the Bryan administration, and Dave Rader, Sylvester Croom, who's
as a matter of fact, Jim Goosetree's son is an artist, and he gave me a print of Bear Bryant from his son. He saw my show, and I used to have Bear Bryant in the background, and he was up visiting his mother. He said, well, this guy loves the Bear. I said, yes, I do. I always did love Bear Bryant. I've got 3 prints of him, one of my heroes. But, so I didn't even know him, and he brought that to the radio station, and they gave it to me, told me he came back.
It was good.
You've met a lot of interesting people.
I have. It's been a fun life.
They didn't hit you and beat you up any down there, did they?
Oh, I'll tell you what, you realize that if you're a all-state player locally or whatever, when you walk into something like that, it's there's all-Americans there.
It's a real world.
It's the real world.
It's the real world of college football.
I like to tell the story of Cornelius Bennett. I mean, that guy was all-SEC his first year as a freshman, true freshman, and he practiced every day like he was trying to make the team. I mean,
that's the reason he was
heck of an athlete. I mean, How
old were you when you started playing competitive softball?
Oh, Greg, I was.
And back then it was competitive.
There's 2 guys.
They were the end.
That could probably help me out.
Huh?
There's 2 guys.
Horace
and Norris, the Twin Towers.
That's right.
They could probably help me. It was probably 1987, 86.
Oh, was it that late?
Yeah, it was. Tom Holly, that owned the Cobra Gym, they had a Cobra Gym team, and he taught me into doing it. And of course, I'd always played baseball.
Yeah.
And we kind of went from there into the Chuck Poff years, and it was the Clarksville Merchants versus the Chuck Poff there for a few years.
And I'm putting you on the spot, who were the best players back then? Nate Moore played, didn't he?
Nate Moore. I mean, golly, you got...
I'm putting you on the spot, but you had some real...
Ralph Harper, boxer Michael Young, of course, Horace Norris, that was Ricky Clements, Ricky Jenkins, Rick Richardson. Lord, it goes forever.
Yeah, it does. That was about the end of softball in this city as we know it. They've got it now. Nothing. They don't even play the game right. Nothing. Back then, in the 70s through the 80s, softball was softball.
It was. It was.
Just like you said earlier today, you played 13 different weekends in a row on the road.
Absolutely.
We did it also.
Yeah, you play your league, and then you play tournaments on the weekend.
Absolutely.
And then Michael Young and I were driving to Franklin on, I think, Monday nights and playing in a league down there.
I mean, you had to love it.
Oh, you did. And it was fun.
And it was fun. Would you say that's some of the greatest times of your life?
If I had to rewind, I would probably go back to right there.
Really?
Yep.
And that's something I think that I'd go back there too. I liked it. Boy, it's something about it. It took over. It took us over.
It did.
It was amazing how that sport, it was just ready to explode. And then something happened. Slow pitch softball, man, when you put it on the right fields, you got to have some athletes. It's not just grunts hitting it over you got to have some athletes, don't you?
You do, and what of course, everything is advanced in technology, and I think technology has taken the fun out of softball.
The balls became too hard. I was telling Billy, when we played, you play an inning, you could actually put your fingers in the ball a little bit. Now you can, man, they're like rock. And the bats from the bomb bat that we used, and really I was there when we went from wood to aluminum. So that's how long ago I was in it. But
these guys over here agree with me that the bats is what separated the eras of softball, because now an average person, and that kind of sounds wrong, but an average individual can go out and hit home runs.
Yeah.
When back when we were playing, I mean, it was practice.
Absolutely.
I mean, Michael Young and a few of us met every day after work and hit.
I had a few guys like that also. Jimmy Young was a workaholic. Mickey Fisher was a workaholic. You know, those kind of guys. Maxie Garrett was a workaholic. You have those.
Yes, you do.
You know, every team has to have them. You have to have those guys like that.
If you're going to be good at something, you've got to
work at it. You got to practice. It's no question. Man, you're a good guess. Billy Hughes, stretch run right after this.
The model year-end sales event continues at Matthews Nissan, Clarksville's favorite new car dealer. Save big on 400 new. We're making room for 2017s. $8,188 off a new Altima, $6,388 off a new Rogue, $7,888 off a new Maxima. Buy a new Versa, $9,999. You're gonna love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews Nissan.
The holiday season is a time of celebration and reflection. This year, our family at Neil Tarpley Parchment encourages your family to celebrate the lives and memories of those who are no longer with us.
We share with you in celebrating lives well lived.
From our family to yours, we wish you a blessed holiday season.
I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
From my heart to you and your family, just remember your loved one is not forgotten. Have a happy Merry Christmas.
Stretch run. Our guest today, Billy Hughes. Man, we've had a lot of fun, hadn't we? Reminiscing,
been a blast.
Talking, good times, old times. We hadn't talked about bikers who care, and we need to do that more. And you guys, each year, you have functions and things you do to raise money for different groups. And I know at your annual Christmas party, you give that money away.
We do. We do give it away all year long in small chunks. But at Christmas time, we have our big Christmas party and give away our big checks. We do $55,000 every year to Camp Rainbow, $10,000 to Buddy Ball, which is a local sports league for the handicapped.
Yep, great organization.
$5,000 to Vanderbilt Children's, $5,000 to the Montgomery County Child Advocacy Center, and $5,000 Special Olympics. And then we do this year it'll be $3,000 to Camp Phoenix, which is a camp for severely burned children that's similar to Camp Rainbow.
Really?
New thing that we're supporting, put on by the Middle Tennessee Firefighters Association, and it's really a good cause.
You know, I know last year you started this Secret Santa deal. How did that go?
I was watching the nightly news, and at the close they do the little feel-good story at the end of the broadcast. And the Secret Santa that travels across the country every Christmas, and he's a successful businessman, gives away $100,000, $200,000. He paired with, right at the wake of the Ferguson riots, he paired with the police department and went around spreading goodwill. And I think in today's society, especially here in the last year, it appalls me to wake up and find out that a member of our law enforcement has been shot.
Amen.
I think that it should be a capital offense that if you shoot and harm a first responder. That's my personal opinion.
I'm with you.
But I think
It
that's
should be a capital offense.
Nationally. It's gone too far. So anyway, trying to help. I mean, these guys locally. I mean, they're like you and I. They want to go home safe at the end of the day and see their families. And although only a few of us get to go out and do this, we're representing.
What you do, you go out and you give some unsuspecting person in need $100, $200, I guess.
Last year we actually did some traffic stops, which came under scrutiny through a national organization, but we were able to justify what we did. But it'll make a grown man cry.
Yeah.
To see
people the happiness. Yeah, like you told me a story of a lady that had 4 kids. They weren't going to have a Christmas. You stopped them.
We stopped them for a license plate offense, and the deputy asked her, said, "How's your Christmas?" She says, "It's going good." She says, "I'm on the way to a church to pick up free coats for my kids." And then he proceeded to tell her that on behalf of the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department, the Bikers of Care, we'd like to have $100. And, of course, she was overwhelmed with emotion. The kids poured out of the Suburban, hugged every one of us, and probably the best
$100.
Best Christmas I've had in a long time.
Yeah, $100, and she was that appreciative. We're running out of time. Bikers Who Care, you're treasurer, aren't you?
I am treasurer.
Bill's still the president?
He's still the head guy, and Booger's co-director. And
you've heard the story of Bill and Booger on here, and he used Booger as a dummy.
That's legendary.
It was classic. What's the best advice Billy Hughes ever received?
Whatever you want to do, work hard, and it will happen.
And it will happen. And you do work hard.
I try.
Billy, what characteristic do you admire most in another person?
Honesty.
Honesty. What is the truest sign of success?
Man, that's a tough one. Being successful and being humble, knowing how to handle it.
I thought about that a lot too. I asked that a lot. Happiness. If you can be happy, you got to be successful if you can have happiness in your life.
I agree.
Buddy, I appreciate you. You're a good man.
Greg, I appreciate it.
Always, Billy. Good man. Wish I'd have had you on my team back in the day.
It'd have been fun.
Oh, I guarantee you, buddy. It would have been. It was fun for all of us. It didn't matter what time. We had a lot of fun. Bikers Who Care, Billy Hughes, Hughes Construction Corporation. For yours truly, Greg Walker. For my man Steve Sawyer behind the scenes, have a nice rest of the day, folks.